Good morning, Luann and Tim with you this morning, and thank God, thank the Lord, it's Friday. Can I just say?
Have you had a long week?
No, I'm fine.
Oh, Mama!
I'm fine, really, it's great.
This is what happens when you make her work a double shift on a Thursday. How did look at this.
This is so awesome.
This is what you did last night.
Yeah.
Trump versus Trudeau.
TNT, we called it. It was so awesome because this table was full of just some folks who have strong opinions about who the better leader is or the differences between the leaders.
I didn't know there was a question.
Easy now.
Okay.
So it was an awesome conversation because we got to talk about things like media, which of course I'm a little bit interested in, and how
Why?
or whether they affect our leaders, you know, Trudeau as opposed to Trump.
Right, okay.
And how they use the media or don't use the media. We talked about the economy, we talked about the tariffs and stuff, and you know what? There's some pretty smart people in our city.
You said you were surprised about, okay, so Constable Sonny Spina was one of the panelists,
yes.
Right? And you said his knowledge...
And he was like, tickety-boo.
Right, and
yeah.
he was pro-Trump, but not so much, am I right, is it not so much pro-Trump, it's more about the policies of
and sort of dismissing the style of the presenter.
Okay.
And you know, looking at the actual
ignoring the messenger, just listening to the message.
Yes, exactly.
So hard to do when it's the leader of a country.
It's tough to do. But you know what? The Trump people brought up some really interesting points against our prime minister.
Okay.
Against, as in, you know, like this, he promised this and not doing that. Like, I mean, it wasn't combative, it wasn't, but it was so informative, and I had such a good time. The hour, like that.
Flew by.
Just flew by. I could not believe. It was crazy.
And Greg Lefebvre was another one who was...
Greg Lefebvre and Matt Shoemaker.
I was surprised that Greg Lefebvre, who owns a car dealerships, what?
Yes.
Would be pro somebody who's all about tariffs and steel and the auto industry. And
it was such an interesting conversation.
Okay,
it was very cool.
It's going to be on view on demand, obviously.
Yes, it is.
So yeah. I will watch it. I was busy last night listening to jazz.
Oh.
I know my homework was way more fun than your homework. Well, maybe not so.
Here I was working.
Yeah, and I was sitting by the pool listening to electro-funk, jazz, rhythms that I don't understand. No.
You were having your mind blown.
I was having my mind blown. No kidding. You don't understand what's going on in Sault Ste. Marie this weekend, you people. Oh, okay. So there's a guy, and his name is Brownman Ali, and he is a musician born in Trinidad, raised in Toronto, schooled in New York, like a world-class, like Canada's foremost trumpeter is in Sault Ste. Marie.
What's he doing here?
Well, because Stephen Alexander from Loplops is a huge fan, and he's played here before, and it's taken something like 7 years to get him back in the city again.
Awesome.
But this time, Stephen just didn't bring him back. He brought back Brownman with a whole, like with a festival. It's an electro jazz festival, and so Nick McLean, piano player from Toronto.
So the building itself was kind of small, though.
Loplops?
Yes. Like
it's going to be packed. Like you got to get your tickets or call
right.
now. They're already sold out. One thing's already sold out. The final event, I believe, is already sold out. It's been sold out for weeks. So, but anyway, watching the videos, watching the YouTubes, reading about Brownman, and just it's crazy. I'm so excited to have him here, and I had a great night learning all about him and Nick and the gang.
And because you're a performer, you could appreciate it, I feel like, even more because you could speak to them a little bit more technically as to, you know, I couldn't figure out.
I couldn't find the one.
He couldn't find the one.
No,
I'm right here, honey.
You are the one. You're the one and only.
Uh-huh.
No, it's because remember, were you here when I was talking about, didn't we just talk about yesterday how music was a science?
Yes, yes.
And Paul Dingle and all that stuff in my training? Okay, so this is a perfect example of that. How he has taken his degree in physics. He studied physics and mathematics because as a musician, it was all of those numerical things and counts and stuff that he was so intrigued by.
Really?
And he incorporates them into his compositions and into the way that he plays. It's incredible.
Now, you know what? It's interesting to even think of it from that perspective. As a non-musical person, I've been married to 2 musicians, still can't sing, but they... Stop it.
Yeah.
I'm never doing karaoke.
Yeah, we all need an audience, Lou.
Yes,
my father always said, my father couldn't sing, my father loved jazz. And it's interesting because reading about Brown, I call him Brown now because we're like this.
Oh.
Maybe by the end of the interview I'll call him Brownie because apparently his friends call him Brownie. So we'll see if I can get tight.
Don't push it.
Okay. Anyway,
you're awesome, but you're not
his mother listened to the same kind of musicians that my father played in our house all the time. Like,
really?
Yeah, like Ella and Sarah Vaughan and what was her name? Oh, anyway, there's more. And like we listened to Mel Torme and like all those.
Mel Torme.
Yeah. So he was influenced by this. Miles Davis. When he said when he was a kid, if he couldn't sleep, his mother would put on Miles Davis and he'd go out like a light.
Really?
And for me, it was my mother would turn on the vacuum cleaner.
And he'd lay on top of it and fall asleep.
And fall asleep. And that's why I guess in life, Brownman Ali blows and I suck.
Or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? It's interesting though because when you're talking about a person with a degree in physics.
Yes.
And the mathematical organization of music.
Yeah.
As someone who's not musical, I don't think of that. Like I watch professionals, I watch people sit around a bonfire and play.
Yeah.
And it astounds me how somebody who is playing with somebody else around the fire,
how they can find each other.
how do they know what that person's going to do?
Because they're creatures of
It's
jazz.
amazing. And that's what's freaking you out about this.
Well, not just that, it's that they can go like crazy. I've always thought that was weird how a soloist can go and play their little solo and then we all come back together again.
How do you know?
Because they practice.
Yeah, I suppose. And Nick and Brown, I'm calling him Brown too.
Look at you now, all friends.
Yeah.
Okay, what about them?
We're doing a little a cappella thing in the green room.
They were doing like, they were talking about, they were trying to teach me about how they find the beat and stuff, and they were doing this, they were just good.
Scatting?
But it was, look at Nick's laughing at me, shut up. But the weird thing was they were using the same vowels and the same consonants as they read the rhythm. I was like, you guys just scattered exactly the same. That's freaky.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So does that come with experience, hanging out together for a long, long time?
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they probably.
So someday I'm going to think just like you?
Oh, God help you, dear.
Oh, I gotta go. Gotta run.
What else is going on? The festival's this weekend. I'm going to talk to them about that. And then it's Humane Society Friday. Puppies or kitties or gerbils or snakes.
Remember? Ew!
No, okay.
Remember the rabbits?
The rabbits.
They were so cute.
They were. I wonder what we're going to get today from the Humane
Snake
Society.
could eat the gerbil.
Stop it!
When did we have rabbits?
You missed
We
the
had
rabbits,
rabbits,
Aaron. You were here that Friday.
Aaron was off,
it was,
yeah.
It was bunnies and what were the guinea pigs?
Guinea pigs.
Yeah.
Bunnies, Aaron, were like this big.
Yeah.
So cute. Their ears were, yeah.
They eat them in Peru.
Was there anything
They
else?
eat them in Peru, he says. Awesome.
Guinea pigs?
They eat guinea pigs in Peru?
Guinea
Big
pigs.
festival.
Well, they eat pigeons in Italy.
okay.
We should do that here. Because it's illegal.
So how are you this morning?
It's illegal to.
Awfully good of
Nick,
you to
it's
join
illegal
us.
to feed pigeons in Sault Ste. Marie. We have a bylaw that says it's illegal to feed pigeons. I can't figure that out
It's
because.
because they poop everywhere.
Well,
They're
so do the
messy.
geese in Bellevue Park, but we don't have a bylaw against feeding them.
But we have a loud noise that scares them away, kinda.
Yeah, do your deer call.
See? I'm
That'll
telling you, the
scare away
city,
anybody.
when I retire, the city's going to hire me to sit in the dark in Bellevue Park and just do my deer call.
When you retire, I can't.
You don't believe that a deer would come, do you? You don't. You don't
Not
believe.
to you.
No?
Well, did you hear the real call? It sounds more like a frog. I don't know. I can't. Okay, we're not doing this again.
Okay.
We've got talented musicians here. We're not going to sit here and impersonate frogs and deers.
Making stupid
Deers?
noises.
Deers.
Deers?
Ah.
Whoa.
Okay, listen, we're going to go to a commercial break and we come back. What's
Alrighty.
happening? I'm bringing on Brownman Ali and Nick McLean and talking about, oh my God.
Albums.
You gravitate, yeah, we'll talk about that too. We're very busy this morning. Don't go anywhere. You're going to love this. All right, stay with us more with Mornings with Lou Ann and Tim right after this. Welcome back to Mornings with Luann and Tim. Ladies and gentlemen, this guy right here, born in Trinidad, schooled in New York, and now splitting his time between Toronto and Brooklyn. Internationally acclaimed jazz trumpet player Brownman Ali. I call you Brown.
Yeah, man.
Thank you very much. He's now heralded by the New York Village Voice as Canada's preeminent jazz trumpet player. Woohoo! Leading no less than a staggering 8 groups of his own, all signed to his Brooklyn-based label Browntosaurus Records. I love that. He spent 4 years touring the globe with the legendary rapper Guru of Gangstar fame, and as the featured soloist for Guru's Jazzmatazz from 2006 to 2010. You've since performed with the likes of Jay-Z, Missy Elliott, Mos Def, Paul Simon, and Quincy freaking Jones. His powerful signature sound, no kidding, signature, as a soloist has been compared to that of Miles Davis. I don't know who Freddie Hubbard is, and I didn't get a chance to look him up. I'm sorry.
Let's go, we're out of here.
Okay, they gotta go. That has made him one of the most recognizable trumpet players in North America today. And he's here in Sault Ste. Marie, not just you, a whole bunch of yous, for 4 days performing 5 different concerts at Lop Lops, thank you Stephen Alexander, for Electro Jazz Weekend Festival, which will feature him in a variety of funkified jazz settings over the weekend. Good morning, Brownman Ali.
Brother, thanks for having us.
Right on. Nick McLean alongside, oh sorry, I just touched your $10,000 trumpet.
I want to move that here.
Oh my gosh.
Come on, Tim.
Okay, you've been here before, Sault Ste. Marie.
Yeah, in 2011.
Yeah, it was 7 years ago is what I read.
Yeah, our Electric Trio, the group was on tour, and this was one of the stops. You know, when you do the circuit, you come up and you go over the lakes, and it's very cold. I'm from Trinidad, so it's very cold, very cold.
You moved when you were about 7, you said?
Yeah, very young.
To Toronto.
To Toronto.
And Toronto.
And then New York.
And then New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you've been in New York for a long time now.
Yeah.
I can tell you how you talk.
Like, really? I can't hear it, but these guys say it's.
You know what else I told him? I didn't tell you this, but when I closed my eyes yesterday and I was listening to I closed my eyes and listened to you, Brown.
Okay, all right.
I heard Barry Manilow's speaking voice.
Really?
You sound sometimes like Barry Manilow.
Really?
Could you sing Mandy for me right now?
No,
I'm just kidding. Okay.
Absolutely not. Mandy. Okay.
See, but you've also influenced Nick because now he talks all American.
Does he? No.
Yes, he does. He said American.
Apparently I do.
Really?
Yeah. Nick, you were born and raised
In Ottawa.
Ottawa, and then moved to Toronto to study at Humber?
Yes.
Amazing program, right?
Absolutely.
You do with your fingers, but you do with your lips.
I am touching that.
Tell me a little bit about your background there. Where'd you start playing?
Oh man, I was very young. I started. I was 7 years old, and my mother tells this crazy story that when I was a baby, I was fussy in the crib, and the only way that I could sleep is if she played Miles Davis to shut me up. So the sound of that home was in my head since I was a kid, and then I just wanted to get my hands on one as quickly as I could. And it's a funny story. I don't want to take up too much of the time, but I got my hands on the horn in school, and when you're young, all trumpet players sound like this. I don't know if it'll pick it up, but. And I've been listening to Miles since I was a child, so I was like, "Ma'am, this is broken. Can I get the one that sounds like Miles Davis, please?" And I was serious. And they're like,
"You were serious?"
And they were like, "No, you have to practice every day for many, many years." I was like, "I don't want to do that. That's crazy talk." So they're like, "No, but if you want to sound like Miles, you have to." So I became really obsessed with practicing. But it takes trumpet players will tell you it's the worst. One of your crew guys played trumpet, and we're both like, "Yeah, it sucks. It's terrible." Yeah. I don't recommend it to anybody.
And when did you start playing piano?
Oh, about 19 years ago.
That's okay. I would have guessed longer.
I thought he was 16. So
That's why he had to grow the beard so he wouldn't card him when you go for gigs. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
How did you come together?
We met through a big band in the city led by tenor saxophonist Chelsea McBride, her big band, the Socialist Night School.
Who's on tour right now. I just literally got off tour with her, and 2.5 weeks across every jazz festival in Canada. She's bananas. She's like 24. Yeah, I think she's 24 years old, and the next great big band. 24-year-old girl running a 22-piece jazz orchestra, carting everyone across the country. 22. Jazz orchestra, big band.
On.
Yeah. So that's how we met. He was the piano player. He quit though because he's a fool. but that's how we met. And then he asked me to play trumpet on one. He has 2 bands on one of those groups, and then our musical relationship just started doing this. We're both really like-minded, and we arrive at the same place through different means. So yeah, just there's a musical connection here that's very, very rare.
How about from your perspective? What's his influence been like on you?
It's been enormous.
Yeah.
He's musically, he's influenced my own ideology and my own approach to music. Like Brown takes an attitude that's very similar to kind of comedic improv. This idea of always say yes, or always say yes.
There's no wrong notes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. That ideology came from the 14-time Grammy winner. Randy Brecker?
Yeah, Randy Brecker.
Okay, so I watched him too. I watched you guys play together. How much of a kick is that when you guys play together?
Well, that's and that video, that's probably
14 Grammys.
Yeah, he's the dude, man. They say that he's the greatest modern jazz trumpet player of our time. He's a monster.
There he is up there. Is that him on the screen there?
Yeah, that's us. Oh, it's him watching me play.
Watching you play. That must have been crazy for you.
Bananas, man.
Because but you know what? So the ideology. Can you explain what that? Can you put into words what that ideology is? The approach?
It's always look forward, because jazz is. I mean, there's 2 camps, especially in New York, of jazz. There's the camp of jazz that says we need to preserve this art form. We need to go, and men like Wynton Marsalis are part of that, where you go back and you preserve. And then there's the other camp of, but jazz is about music of tomorrow and the evolution of an art form. So that I'm part of that camp, because I feel, and musicians like me feel that as soon as you push the record button in the studio, the music is captured, and that's all the reverence we need of that art form. We don't need to go back in 2018 and play music from 1894. Yeah.
I get you. So in one of your interviews, you mentioned respectfully Diana Krall. You were like, there's a place for that, but that's not all the jazz is. And a lot of people in popular like radio, they hear that and they think, oh, Diana Krall, that's jazz.
Yeah, it is absolutely. It is.
But what you do is.
It's not indicative of tomorrow.
No.
Yeah, music. So, and that's what my label deals with. And I guess we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, I know. We got to go to a break. When we
sure.
I could do like half an hour. I could do an hour with you guys. I do want to talk about Brown Desource because the zero profit, like what you do for young artists or upcoming artists, because you got two different bands under his label.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll talk about that when we come back.
Okay.
And so much more. Hey, you gewaltig Schmien. There's so much to talk about. Okay, so stay with us. Mornings with Luann and Tim and Brown and Nick and a whole lot of other stuff. We'll be right back.
That went so fast. Oh my God.
Welcome back. Okay, so we got to talk shorter.
Yeah.
We got too much to cover.
I know.
Okay, so you got a big break with a Montreal Jazz Festival. Mm-hmm. You won the Grand Prix du Jazz.
Yeah.
2001.
Yeah, 50 bands play Montreal, 10 bands get nominated, and I won the damn thing. It was ridiculous. Can I say that on air?
Yeah, damn. Yeah. How old were you? How old were you?
25.
Shut
when
up.
I won that, yeah.
And then how did you...
And amazingly, I'm still 25.
Oh, is that great?
Today.
Yeah. 25 and holding. Yeah. Must be getting heavy. You've been holding it for a while. Listen, how did Guru find you?
Oh man, that was nuts. And that was life-changing. So Guru, for those who don't know, Guru is one of the greatest rappers in history, and I got grabbed in 2006 to replace the incredible Donald Byrd in that band, and then I did 6 world tours with him.
We got a clip of you in Switzerland with Guru, right?
Cool.
And here he is.
There he is.
Yeah.
He died in 2010 of cancer. I miss him.
Yeah, I read that.
I miss him terribly.
I don't hear anything. I just see him walking around. Mike?
That's okay. That's all right.
Can you crank it up? There you go.
Now it's just nice.
So,
Yeah,
there you go.
That's good.
Now I hear you.
That covers it.
So listen, you when he grabbed you then, and you played with him for how many years? 4 years?
Yeah, 4 years, 4 world tours.
4 world tours, and then You go on to work with Jay-Z, Missy Elliott, Mos Def. Like,
yeah, he's such a legend in the hip hop community. So a lot of the Brooklyn hip hop rappers, they wanted Guru's trumpet player. So I just started getting called for work with those guys, which is a great honor. I grew up with as much hip hop as I did jazz in my personal.
So who fused
world.
it together? Who was like one of the?
That's the guy.
That's the guy.
Guru's the guy. Like,
he is the guy that
he's in the hip hop history books, man. As he's the inventor of jazz hip hop, the subgenre. Yeah. So for me to get that call, and I was a fan of his with Gangstar. So to get that call was bananas. I actually thought I was being punked.
Oh yeah, I heard you say that. You thought, guys, Guru doesn't even sound like that.
Yeah,
guys.
I thought my boys were messing with me. Yeah, doesn't even sound like Guru.
And it was him.
It was him.
And him himself, not even like an agent or somebody. Just him.
No, he's real like that, man. He's really real. Jay's is like that too.
Cool. Really?
Yeah.
Chase. He calls him Chase. Listen to that, okay? All right. So now we got to get on to how'd you form the trio then?
So I have a hip hop group called Groove Asylum, and
You have 8, by the way.
Yeah.
You front 8. Electric Trio is 1. You say Cruzao?
Cruzao, yeah,
Cruzao. I know, because Cruzao.
Okay.
Monster.
yeah,
Latin jazz big band.
So
one.
it's actually
You rename-
Cruzao Grupo Monstruoso, but we just call it the Monster for short.
Grupo Monstruoso.
Yeah, it's the big band version of Cruzao.
You got how many guys play that one?
15.
Yeah.
15.
Arecibo?
Arecibo, who's playing on
They're Heat. You guys are gonna be
Saturday
here.
night, Saturday afternoon.
Matizado?
Yeah, Marron Matizado is my salsa.
Marron Matizado.
My salsa band.
Acoustic Trio.
Yeah, Brownman Acoustic Trio for jazz, just straight ahead stuff.
Groove Asylum.
My hip hop group.
And Ali Bros?
Yeah, with my brother, my kid brother, Yeah.
So you front 8 bands, plus you have the label Brontosaurus. You're the
Yeah.
CEO of Brontosaurus Records?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's stick with the trio first of all. How did that happen?
So Groove Asylum, that's good, you keep me on track. So Groove Asylum is a hip hop band with trumpet, bass, drums, and rapper. And as soon as the rapper stops rapping, we moved to trio and I solo. And after like a couple of years of doing that, I was like, man, this is dope without the rapper. And so I just started another group to explore the context of just that sound of piano, bass, drum, trumpet, bass, and trumpet, bass, and drums. Yeah, so that's how Electric Trio was born.
And so then now let's talk about the label, because this is how Nick has his own two. What are the names of your two?
Snaggle, it's an electric jazz group, and Nick McLean Quartet, which is more of an acoustic jazz.
Snaggle is often compared by media to Snarky Puppy, for those who know that group. They just won a Grammy last year.
Did they?
Yeah, they're monstrous. So his group is like often called Canada's answer to Snarky Puppy.
So a big thing for you is making sure that people are exposed to this kind of music.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
which is probably why you've come to Sault Ste. Marie again, because
Yeah.
we don't often get this kind of stuff going on up here.
Yeah, thanks to Steve Alexander.
Thanks for Steve.
That's
So
the
the trio is here. Mike, do you want to run the clip of the actual? This is the first one. This is the Electric Trio, right?
There it is.
Now, Nick, how long have you been playing with the Electric Trio then?
Well, I don't play with the Electric Trio, but Brown brings me in as a special guest for Electric Trio.
You're the plus one. Oh, you're the plus
Yeah.
one.
There you go. He's the plus
Now,
one.
okay, I was wondering who the plus one was. It's him.
Yeah, it's the man.
Okay, now you are playing 5 different concerts.
Yeah.
With 4 different bands in 4 days.
Yeah, 5 concerts, 5 different bands.
5 different bands.
In 3 days.
Okay.
Yeah, 5 concerts, 3 days. Yeah, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday tonight is Nick McLean Quartet.
Right.
Saturday afternoon is Arecibo. Saturday night is Electric Trio. Sunday afternoon is a tribute to Herbie Hancock. And Sunday night I'll guest on a couple tunes.
Sold
with
out.
My Son the Hurricane. Yeah.
That's already sold out.
Yeah, but that's their show, and I'm just guesting.
You're
on that.
guesting on that one?
So that show's was booked for a long time with Lop Lops, and then
You built the festival around it?
Well, Steve did. Steve was like, so my management emailed Steve and said, we have a 6-day lull in my touring schedule. Like I just got off the road, and I'll go right back on the road in a matter of days. So he sent out like a mass email to promoters, and Steve was the first. He was like, I'll take them, I'll bring them to Sault Ste. Marie, and so he was like, cool. And I said, that's a long way to go for one gig, man. It's a long way, and it's cold up here for, men of color. So Steve said, well, what about, could you bring some guys? Like, could we, reconfigure? one set of musicians into different. And I said, yeah, man, I know exactly the dudes. And so Nick is my right hand at the label and a right hand in a lot of different projects. So I brought Stephen Falk on bass, who's actually the bassist for the Socialist Night School, the big band I was just on tour with.
What was the lady's
Yeah,
name?
Chelsea McBride.
Chelsea McBride,
Yeah.
thank you.
So Steve's on bass, and then Tyler Gritson on drums, who's the regular drummer for the Nick McLean Quartet, which is
Thank you. And the Nick McLean, we have a Nick McLean clip, don't we, Mike? Elasticity is
Yeah.
Can you put that one up? So now these CDs are under your label.
Yeah,
Brontosaurus Records.
You got it.
Now your Andrew is amazing as your publicist, and we were in touch, and he was giving me some background on what you've done with this label. It's who nobody does, but you do. So what this guy does, I'm not even being seen right now, but I'm talking to you. You're busy
okay.
playing. Oh, there you all are.
Yeah, in studio.
That is so cool.
That record's doing so well. This
Is
record,
it?
it's top of the charts in Europe right now. It's like,
Congratulations, Nick.
thank you.
The Nick McLean Quartet. Your label, you formed it basically, so all the money you make from playing trumpet,
Yeah.
you put into the label?
Yeah, so that all operating costs are covered by my professional trumpet playing, but then the label makes zero in order that all the artists make 100% of everything that's made.
So you're getting 100% of everything that's made because this guy basically is giving you that platform because you already had your stuff going on.
There it is, exactly. It's exactly right. So I have a certain amount of stature in the community already. So
I wonder why.
So if people are looking at me, for me, I thought it was a great opportunity to shine the spotlight on the next generation of killers that are coming up. And these guys are murderers. Everyone. So I'm signing 20-somethings really.
Yeah.
They're not all 20-something. Like Chris Lesso from Modus Factor is an old man. I hope he's watching. And and he has a group that's fantastic. Brontosaurus, it's a funny spelling. I don't know if they can throw that up.
B-R-O-W-N-T-A-U-R Brown.
I don't even T-A-R-A-U. You know what? Don't even.
B-R-O-W-N-T-A-S-A-U-R-A-S. Brontosaurus, like Tyrannosaurus,
kind of
Brontosaurus, but
it's
brown.
Just a made-up word.
It's like no, it's like Brontosaurus, but it's brown.
It's a brown Brontosaurus, exactly.
Yeah.
.com. Put a .com on the end of it.
.com.
You can check out all the cats on the label.
Okay, the Havana one. Can we watch the Havana one?
Oh, right.
Oh, I want to watch the Havana. This is Night Vision. This was shot.
Right.
Were you actually? Where were you?
Havana Jazz Festival.
You were actually
I was
in
headlining.
Havana?
Yeah.
You were the headliner?
So I do. So as much the three areas of expertise, let's say that I work with is I work with a lot of Latin music, like Cuban and Brazilian mainly. I'm a hip hop artist. I play with all these big name guys, and I'm a jazz musician. So those are my three proclivities, let's call it.
Okay. That's a good word for this early in the morning.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's really off. Yeah, we got in at 2:30.
2:30 in the morning and you're here.
2:30 a.m. It was brutal.
Yeah,
so we're here. So one of the permutations of the four guys is called Ertesibo, one of my Latin groups. So and I think that was the point of showing the clip. Is just look, he's Latin. He can
because they're so different. Your brain must go a million different directions because there's huge difference between the Latin influence and the the electro stuff. Man, what you do in those microphones. Well, it wasn't until I watched you. I remember when Joni Mitchell's Mingus album came out. I was like, I don't understand that music. It's just too forward thinking for me. I can't. No, I was square. I don't know. Musical theater 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, maybe Sondheim 12/8 once in a while, but.
He's the man. Sondheim's the man.
But so for me to listen to that kind of stuff, I guess I've matured. My brain has matured or something. Because now, when I was listening to you play, I said to you earlier, if I were in a concert, you'd be in big trouble because I'd be standing up screaming, "Stop it! How are you doing that?" Or like my jaw was actually literally, I was sitting by myself going.
Right. Okay, but what was it? It's the weird sounds,
It was
right?
no, just the weird sounds. It was the fact that you were making your thing sound like an electric guitar through a microphone. Like you were.
But that's pedals. I have effects. Yeah.
I wondered how you did that.
Yeah, come and check
I'm gonna come.
Saturday night.
Everyone should go.
There you go.
Do you understand, Sault Savory, what we have in this city right now? Like, you are a world class man. I am so thrilled to meet you, honestly. And thanks for getting up early and coming in here.
My pleasure,
I
man.
could have spent an hour with you.
Thanks for the support, man. It means a lot.
Okay, so wait a second. Here's Gravitation.
Yeah.
That is one CD.
That record went to #4 on the iTunes Jazz Charts in the USA, and it won me 2 National Jazz Awards. It won me 3 Toronto Independent Music Awards and an International Independent Music Award for Album of the Year, which got me a letter from Herbie Hancock. Yeah. congratulations letter from Herbie, which I was like,
Oh my God.
Which is why we're going to pay tribute to. Like, I'm such a huge. Both of us are such huge Herbie fans. So that's.
And if anybody wants information on this, by the way, we have everything on Sue Online, which is our website,
cool.
www.sueonline.com.
Dope.
It's all there under that, and then also Lop Lops has their own Facebook page. You can find it there. So it is all weekend long, starting tonight. You're on tonight, man.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 2 shows Saturday, 2 shows Sunday. Incredible, yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but the Sunday night is already sold out, so, and I have a feeling that now, once this gets out, the tickets are going to go crazy. So get a hold of Stephen Alexander at Lop Lops, get in there and check these guys out. Brownman Ali, such a pleasure to meet you. Nick McLean, thank you for being here. We'll be back with more Mornings with Luann and Tim right after this. Luann, I kind of feel like some of his cool rubbed off on me.
It didn't.
But
It didn't. None of it.
he is such a, like, just to hear him talk, I felt square. Like, when I was watching the stuff, preparing for the interview, I was like,
He's very cool.
I am so square compared to this guy. I'm going to come off like a total idiot.
You didn't, though. You did good.
Well, only because I could, like, talk to him like a musician, but, like,
Exactly.
he just oozes cool.
Yeah. And
you know?
so approachable still.
So nice.
You know, like-
I had to like dangle donuts in front of them to get them out of the studio because they were
Yes.
just chatting with everybody. They're so approachable.
And Nick is so
Nick McLean.
such an easygoing guy, right?
And then you watch him play. It's like
Yes.
The other thing, you know what else is really cool? When I was watching Brownman's Brownie. I'm gonna call him Brownie because we're like this now. One of the things that he said in his videos was now I've lost my train of thought, Luann.
There it was, gone. It's the donut. He's hungry, so he's thinking, like, I can't even think now because I need a sugar buzz.
What was I
Drink
saying?
some more coffee.
What was I saying?
And in the meantime, we'll talk a little bit more about the music. Sounds like it's going to be an awesome weekend at Lops Lops.
It's going to be an awesome weekend everywhere in Sault Ste. Marie. You know what stuff is going on?
Oh my God, and Pridefest?
Pridefest. Not just Pridefest. So then we've got the Electro Jazz Fest. Then we also have, tomorrow is the boats. The Poker Run.
Okay.
Poker Run is tomorrow.
Yeah.
There's so many. This weekend is also the Bradford Family Art Show at
Farmer Bob's.
Farmer Bob's. Like, it just goes. There's nothing to do in Sault Ste. Marie, though.
Oh, if anybody ever says that to me.
Why I oughta.
Why I oughta. So you had a good time.
With that guy, yeah.
Yeah.
I still can't remember what it was with that guy.
That guy,
with
Brownie.
Brown. Yeah.
Brownie.
There was something he said in the video that reminded me of something, and now I forgot what it was. Dang it!
Yeah, you're so not cool
never got
like
to
him at all,
talk.
Tim.
No, I'm not.
Not at all.
My friend Sue says I look cool though in my shirt. She says I look leathered. What does that mean, leathered?
Because you're tanned and you look like your skin's
I look like an
gonna fall
old
off.
leather chair. Thanks, Sue. Leathered.
Yeah.
That's like my friend Stephen Sims said to me once. Tim, we'd never know how old you were till we smelled and saw your crow's feet. I said, these aren't crow's feet. These are laugh lines. He said, honey, nothing's that funny.
Nothing's that funny.
I have the best friends.
Yes, you do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm much nicer to you, see?
Yeah, but I gotta pay you.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Listen.
And, speaking of that, I need to talk to you about that.
The rates are
Need
going up.
a little bit of a raise. Just saying.
Well, I guess you need to
Yeah.
buy more makeup. So
More concealer. Can I borrow some? Anyway, we're going to talk to
There's a cat fight
folks
going on in the
with
studio
regards
today.
to Pridefest, and
It's all Teddy
what some
Surratt's
of the
fault. He brings that
events,
energy in.
coming up this weekend. And as soon as he stops talking, we're going to take this commercial break, and we're going to be right
I'm
back.
never going to stop talking. I'm going to talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk
Always.
and talk and talk.
We'll be right back.
Talk and talk and talk. What he did?
And he can lift anything. Anything at all. He's that strong.
Joe Schuster, will you stop it or you'll miss your train? Now help me find number 5.
Strong, but by day he's a mild-mannered reporter. Glasses, a secret identity.
Honest.
Happy Pride.
Yes, happy Pride.
Welcome back,
Thanks,
Sue.
yeah.
And welcome, Teddy Surratt.
Hi.
You're
How
my
are
friend,
ya?
Teddy Surratt. I
So
haven't
good to
seen you in
see you.
so long.
I know.
Teddy Surratt, well, let's see. You did theater in Sault Ste. Marie. That's how I met you.
Yes.
But you've gone on to be a real advocate for LGBTQ Two-Spirited Plus.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Good job, Tim.
Well,
You rehearsed.
But you're the first one to teach me about Two-Spirited.
Okay.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
I never knew about the concept, and once you taught me that, I was like, the grandfathers had it going on. Like everybody, was it the grandfather? It wasn't really the grandfathers. This sort of is it?
Well, it was a whole matter of like the community.
The community.
Yeah.
So can you just explain Two-Spirited very briefly?
So Two-Spirit is a very modern term. It came out in the early 90s after a gathering of Indigenous, First Nation, and Native American LGBTQ people out in Manitoba, and they were getting, they were tired of using identifiers such as homosexual, lesbian, bisexual, because those are basically identifiers or terminologies that Indigenous people never used for themselves to identify when it came to queer or trans identities.
Okay.
So there are about over 150 plus terminology for LGBTQ identity within Indigenous languages and different tribes in North America.
Wow.
And it's 150 plus because there are a lot of different tribes and groups who are continuously looking for those and searching and having ceremonies to not to develop, but to basically reaffirm those identities of Indigenous queer and trans identities. So it is a very modern term. It's very inclusive to sexuality and gender as well. Are we okay, Sue?
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
We are.
Okay. So there's many Indigenous people out there who do identify as Two-Spirit. There are Indigenous people who don't identify as Two-Spirit because they may not have teachings within their own culture, their Two-Spirit identity, and so on.
So it's not necessarily, Two-Spirited isn't for every Indigenous person then, obviously.
No.
It's not a term that everybody uses. But when you use it, you're referring to the fact that you've been blessed with the spirits of...
Well, it can be seen as like a balance of both femininity and masculinity,
right,
and having like a fluidity between maleness and femaleness.
And that was looked on as an asset. Is that correct? It was almost like an additional blessing.
Definitely. There's definitely more tribes. There's some more tribes who were held in more in high regard if they had Two-Spirited teachings, or if they had their Two-Spirited people held in high regard, or if they were respected positions.
I wish the white man had treated us that way, as being special and blessed and gifted because we had that. But
yeah. Well, as a white man, you can start doing some of that work now.
Okay, thank you.
So
you've been advocating. You've been speaking all over the country, and do you talk in the States too, Teddy? Or
not necessarily the States, and I think with the political climate in the United States right now, I'd probably maybe refrain right now,
right?
Depending on which state I'm going to go into. But I think that's a concept that a lot of cisgender or straight people don't understand when it even comes to like traveling and land.
Yeah.
So when someone's like, Teddy, would you ever go travel over here or go over there? I'm like, I would have to go do I would have to do a history check first, because there's still almost 80 countries in the world where LGBTQ identity is still legalized, where it's still illegal to be LGBTQ.
And some of them are actually death penalty.
Exactly.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And so even traveling in the States, like I would have to be very particular which state I'm going to go into. How am I going to look? How am I going to project? And if I would talk like this, I'm not going to talk like this.
All right.
So,
you're right.
And so we've come a long way in this country, that's for sure. I mean, and we've come a long way in this city, Teddy, haven't we?
Yes.
In the 5 years since you kind of started Pridefest.
I was one of the helping hands.
One of the helping
hands for that one generation. There's other generations that.
Are you happy to come back and see how Sue and Jeremy and the gang have taken over? And
I
am
so happy to be back here and to see my communities, because I think for the past couple of years, just traveling, seeing other prides across Canada and Ontario, and just seeing like the growth that Sault Ste. Marie has done, and telling other people too. I was like, well, Pride back in the day. Well, actually, when Pride did this, we're reverting back to that, to seeing the different prides in the smaller communities where they're just starting their first Pride.
Well, welcome back to celebrate with us. I hope I see you at the events this weekend. Will you be attending?
Yes. So
okay, Sue, let's give us a rundown of what's going on in the city for Pride.
Yeah, just to wrap it up for the whole entire week, it's been a phenomenally incredible week. Successful. We've had so much success this week. We had the Family Time Karaoke on Wednesday night. Enjoyed by all, and it was wonderful. We had a workshop on Tuesday. We had coffee night last night at Shabby Motley.
Nice.
Today we have Building Allies workshop that's facilitated by Teddy. And
Teddy, where's that happening?
At Oklahoma University, behind the residence office. In one
what
of the
time?
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock today, so if you want to get down there to Algoma U.
Yeah, and it's free.
And it's free. And tonight?
Tonight we have our drag show, Show Your Pride, with the House of Gore.
Paris
Gore.
And that's at?
Doors open up at 7, it starts at 8.
At the Primavera Hall, just by the underpass.
Absolutely. Then Saturday we have our Pride dance down at Shooter's Bar.
Oh, understairs. That's downstairs on Dennis Street, underneath the Grand Gardens.
Grand Gardens.
What time does that start?
Doors open up at 9, and that's free. No cover.
No cover.
It's a video dance party. It's wonderful.
All welcome. This is yeah.
Come on out, embrace yourself.
Allies, friends.
Yeah, absolutely. And then
Sunday morning.
Sunday morning we finish off with a rainbow breakfast buffet.
Love it.
Yes, at the Grand Gardens upstairs.
You have to book in advance so they know you're coming.
Yeah, $15 in advance. Tickets available at TD Bank Cambrian Mall, Shabby Motley, and I don't think Amoria has any more. I think they sold out.
Okay.
Guys, you know what? This has been fast and furious. We're out of time. I got to bring the Humane Society on next. Thanks to my friend Sue. Welcome home, Teddy, once again.
Yeah.
We'll see you all out at the Pride events coming up this weekend, and we'll be back with the Humane Society right after this quick message. Hi, Betty. Welcome to Morning with Luann and Tim. Look at Luann. It's a big dog.
Yes, it's a big dog.
Luann doesn't like big dogs, Laura. Hi, Laura from Humane Society. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is Betty.
Betty, yes.
Betty is a...
she's an 8 to 9 year old boxer.
And she's beautiful. She's well behaved.
She's
so calm.
She
really is.
She's 8 to 9 years old. You figure she was used for breeding at one time?
That we were led to believe that just from a couple of things. We think that maybe at one point she was used as a breeder dog. She isn't spayed. We'd have to get the opinion of our vet to see if we could get her spayed at this age. But at some point she had undergone a surgery for likely a lump removal on her side. So
whoever owned her actually took care of her.
Yes.
But you ended up with her now, and you've had her for how long?
About a month, maybe a little over.
About a month, and she doesn't have any special needs.
No, none at all.
And she's good with other animals, but not cats.
Not cats. She's a very strong chase drive.
Yeah, but she'd probably be good for an adult. I mean, without children, because you never know. An older dog, little kids running around.
Yeah.
If I'm an old man and I don't like children.
No.
So Betty, I understand, but we don't know that. We're just saying.
We don't. We never, like with some of the older dogs, we don't, especially the larger breed, we don't necessarily like to place them in homes with like floor level children, just to be on the safe side, because we don't know their backgrounds. I mean, unless we do get their backgrounds. But
so she would be an exception because you don't know if you'd have to get her spayed. Normally, every animal you get, you have to have spayed or neutered.
Yeah.
But this one, because of her age,
we would have to get our vet's opinion first before sending her out the door.
And so to get more information about Betty, what do we do?
You can call the shelter at 705-949-3573 or feel free to drop in. We're open Monday through Friday 11 to 5 and Saturday and Sunday noon to 5.
And are you still full right now?
Dogs were still pretty full. Cats were still pretty full.
I feel your little belly of the softest little belly. You get what? I'm sorry, I wasn't listening to your answer.
That's okay. Oh.
What'd you say?
About being full? We're still pretty full. Our adoption sides are still pretty full.
Oh, she loves me now.
Yeah.
Look at
you get belly rubs.
You want to come? Yes, I know. Come on up. Come on all the way up. There we go, Betty. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, there is no reason why this dog doesn't have a home. Somebody needs to get down to see Laura at the look at this. See Laura at the Humane Society. I'm probably wrecking my microphone. Luann, did you want the dog on your lap?
No, I'm good. Thanks, Paul.
Did you want to say goodbye, Lou?
Bye.
We'll be back on Monday.
Have an awesome weekend. Thanks for joining us.
Get out and do something in Sault Ste. Marie this weekend. There's no lack of, and adopt a dog.
And adopt a dog.
Thanks, Laura. Thanks, Humane Society. We'll see you on Monday. Have a great weekend. Oh, Betty. Oh, Black Betty. Bam, lamb. Oh, Black Betty.